Mr. Crouch! Mr. Crouch!
Ah, good morning, Miss Tipper.
Could you spare a moment? I've got Mrs. Frencham at reception.
Mrs. Who?
Mrs. Frencham for the ocelot that we remodeled for her.
No, Miss Tipper. The ocelot is to be collected at 2:30.
She is most apologetic, but she's in a hurry.
I'm sure she is, but it hasn't had its final brush yet. That Mr. and Mrs. McMichael are due any minute for the Canadian wild paint.
12:15. This is one of your most perfect creations, Mr. Crouch.
Thank you.
But the mink is a sale. Mr. Bodley will attend to that.
I sincerely hope so. If and when he arrives, what with he being unpunctual and Mrs. Bodley being on holiday, I don't know where I am.
But what should I say to Mrs. Frencham?
You'd better send her in, I suppose, but this is really Mr. Bodley's kitchen. You know how notice I get with clients.
I think you coat splendidly.
Well, but it is not finished yet, and I'll have to explain to her.
Yes, Mr. Crouch.
First the ocelot. No, I think perhaps the meat.
Oh, and I. Ah! How do you say that in an English accent? In an English accent.
Just.
Okay.
I was terribly sorry, Miss Whittington. I thought you were. I'll send for you again when Mr. and Mrs. McMichael arrive.
Thank you, Mr. Crouch.
Crouch.
Okay.
Am I being very difficult?
Oh, Mrs. Frencham. Well, as a matter of fact.
I do apologize, but my husband and I are in town today shopping, and I thought I'd collect my coat now.
But it hasn't had its final brush yet, ma'am.
Oh, that's all right.
But I must give it another brush.
Oh, very well. I'll come back at lunchtime. I must dash. My husband's driving around the block looking for a parking meter.
Oh, it is a problem, isn't it?
Yes, next time we'll come on our bicycles.
Mr. Crouch, are you available for a fitting?
No, I'm not. This has to be ready at 1 o'clock. Make a note of that, Miss Tipdale.
Yes, sir.
I must get this put away. Has the 12:15 appointment arrived yet?
Not yet, no. It's only just gone 12.
Doesn't anybody ever tidy up around here?
I'll arrange to have that done later, Mr. Crouch. In the meantime, could you check the fruits for the autumn catalog, see to the fitting downstairs?
No, I couldn't. Can't you see I've got my hands full?
Morning, all. Morning, girls. Morning, Miss Tipdale. Miss Tipdale. Tippers? Tippers, where are you?
Here I am, Mr. Bodley.
Good morning, Tippers. How are you?
Well?
Splendid, so am I. What's the time? Thank you. What have you got there?
The autumn catalog fruits.
Passed. What's next on the agenda?
The Michaels at 12:15.
Show them in the moment they arrive. Meanwhile, I'll get the champagne on ice. No office should be without one. That's a lovely load of bubbly. Well, what's a couple bottles of champagne when you're selling a 5,000-pound mink? Well, actually, the firm is selling it. But by the strangest coincidence, I'm buying it. Oh, not for myself, you understand? Oh, nothing like that. Oh, no. It's for my girlfriend. Now, you may well ask, what am I, a perfectly happily married man for 20 years, doing with a girlfriend? Well, it's a pretty soul-searching question. It's a question I've been asking myself for 20 years. Oh, I'm not exceptional. Statistics prove it. 98% of men are born unfaithful. The other 2% are born liars. But, as I was saying, I am buying this coat for Janie McMichael, an exotic beauty of some 28 summers and 38 bust. Now, there is only one tiny fly in the ointment. Janie's husband. Janie and I feel that he might get a trifle suspicious if she were to arrive home wearing this 5,000-pound mink. Well, he might. So, I have evolved a scheme of infinite subtlety and some considerable brilliance. Here is the £4,500 that I have just withdrawn from my private account. When Mr. McMichael arrives here, he will be offered this exquisite coat for £500. Cunning, yes? The firm gets its £5,000. Mr. McMichael gets a fantastic bargain for £500. Janie gets her mink, and I get... well, that's another story.
Ah, Mr. Bobby. Thank goodness you've arrived. I've been driven out of my mind.
Have we been busy?
Busy? I've been rushing around like a mad thing.
Good, keep it up. Have you given that its final brush?
No. And I've asked you before not to be quite so rough with these things.
Whittington. Hey, you have another line. Oh my God.
That's fine.
That's
Well,
fine.
I've never seen the script, so I don't know.
Mr. Crouch. I wonder if. Oh, Mr. Bodley. Have I time for my coffee break for your 12:15 appointment?
No, you haven't. But would you care for a glass of champagne instead?
No. Mr. Bobby, Miss Whittington, up here, please.
Oh, he's a killjoy, that one. He doesn't belong in either percentage. Look at him. My partner. We've been together now for 14 years. 14 agonizing, brain-crushing years.
Ah, that's fine. Turn around. Please. A little more. Oh, good. And now turn again, Miss Whittington.
That's you.
There's not another one like it in London.
Like what?
My flared bottom.
Well done, Crouch.
What?
That was verging on funny.
What was?
14 years.
Yes, that's lovely, Mr. Bobby. Would you care to run your hand over the...
Oh, indeed I would.
Mr. Bobby! Thank you, Miss Whittington. I'll send for you again when the McMichaels arrive.
If not sooner.
Really, Mr. Bobby, how can you when your wife's away?
How can I when she's not?
Oh, Mrs. Bobby would be heartbroken if she knew as much as I know.
She'd also be pretty stupid. Anyway, what about you and our secretary?
Mr.
Ambrosine?
I've never even addressed her as Embassy. And in all the years she has worked here, my conduct towards her has been exemplary.
What? You mean you don't fancy her?
I never said that. Whatever my feelings towards Miss Tipdale might be, I would never allow them to jeopardize the efficiency of our organization. If she and I were to be locked in a storeroom overnight with a crate of champagne, she would emerge untarnished.
The trouble is, he means it.
Mrs. Bobby would be quite horrified if she knew the real reason behind the quick turnover of models here.
Oh, stop droning on about my wife. She's away on holiday in the south of France. The sun is shining, business is booming, and you are about to conduct your first sale.
Oh, it's all very well. I conduct a sale?
Your finest creation there.
I couldn't possibly when you instigated the sale with Mr. McMichael.
On the contrary, I'd never met Mr. McMichael.
Oh, I see. Then all your spade work has been done with Mrs. McMichael?
He's getting warm, isn't he?
I still see no reason why you shouldn't complete your transaction.
Not as warm as I thought.